This is the Criterion Creeps podcast, and tonight we're talking about The Samourai from 1967, directed by Jean-Pierre Melville. The tagline for this film, RJ, his only friend was his gun.
It's not very accurate. He doesn't really carry the gun that much in this movie at all.
He throws it right into the fucking river.
Yeah, it's in the movie and out of the movie in about 10 minutes.
No, he's not. I mean, that's how much of an asshole he is. I guess he's throwing his friend in the river.
Did these pieces of shit even watch this movie?
In a career-defining performance, Alain Delon plays Jeff Costello. That's Jeff with one F, everybody. A contract killer with samurai instincts. After carrying out a flawlessly planned hit, Jeff finds himself caught between a persistent police investigator and a ruthless employer, and not even his armor of fedora and trench coat can protect him. An elegantly stylized masterpiece of cool by maverick director Jean-Pierre Melville, Le Samourai is a razor-sharp cocktail of 1940s American gangster cinema and 1960s French pop culture, with a liberal dose of Japanese lone warrior mythology.
This sounds like the most Jarrett pick I've ever heard.
What?
This sounds like when Jarrett was watching those Cassavetes movies, wearing his fedora, smoking his cigarettes, and just saying, I'm more of like a lone wolf. Like, I'm kind of an alpha. I kind of go out and, there's two wolves inside of me, but I'm the alpha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Jarrett?
Hey, you want to hear an example of my color blindness?
Okay.
When I look at the Le Samourai poster, that's like the Criterion image with Delon holding the hat with Le Samourai in black across the top. The background to that just looks like pink to me.
Okay.
But I don't think I don't think it is pink.
You don't think it is pink?
I suspect it's gray, but it looks pink.
Yeah, it's just gray.
Yeah, okay. So this is why people pay me top dollar to do commissions, because I'm colorblind.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I don't know how the colorblind thing works into your painting in color side business you currently have going.
Yeah,
seems questionable.
Yeah, well, I guess people like what they get.
People will take what they get, is what you mean.
What was the trailer for that fucking James Gunn movie? Was it like from the Mad Genius or something like that of James Gunn?
From the Mad Genius, James Gunn.
Yeah. So this is the Maverick, Jean-Pierre Melville. Is he a maverick?
No one has ever described.
Well, outside of this one guy, who wrote this.
Oh, who was that? Fucking Ebert.
Yeah, Big Ebs.
Ugh.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a movie I've seen before. And
have you?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Like 8 years ago or something like that. I think first time I ever seen this, because it's you hear about these Melville movies. You like those noirs, RJ? You gotta be like, well, I hear a lot about this one. It's about a guy in a trench coat and a fedora, and he goes around. He's a hitman, but he's like melancholic. He's a little existential almost.
Some people call this noir, like NU with the two dots over it, like noir. Noir. Where's your noir list on Letterboxd?
They're more like Matrix with Neo.
That's noir? Is the Matrix?
Yep.
I mean, that's fine with me.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I just needed to double check.
All right.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah. I'd seen this back when. And all I kind of remembered about it at this point was this club, the nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a lot of Alain Delon walking around, doing stuff. And that's honestly about it. And kind of
that's all you took away from it.
Yeah, and kind of being like, the movie's okay. It's not bad. It's not a bad show. Not a pretty good show. Maybe not even a good show, but it's okay. It's good. It's not terrible. It was kind of getting a lot of hype at the time. Maybe when I watched it, whenever Drive came out, there's a lot of talk about Drive, and a lot of people talking about Walter Hill's The Driver, which the Driver takes a lot from Le Samurai in terms of like some plot beats and stuff. But it's very 70s to this movie's 60s-ness, and perhaps even to Drive's 2010-ness, which is like a very shiny movie with a really sweet soundtrack.
Yeah. What about Underneath?
It's super simple. It's just about a hitman, and he's so disconnected. He lives in this room with a bird cage, but is it a metaphor, RJ?
What does that word mean? I'm not familiar with that term.
Despite all that bird's rage, it's just a bird in a cage, much like our assassin.
Wow. How long have you been working on that one? For weeks, months,
seconds,
months,
mere seconds. So yeah, I came into this movie with a little trepidation because there's something about this movie that I think it attracts a certain audience type. And RJ, I have to say, I'm a little surprised in your Letterboxd review. You did not tag this with what I feel is peak incel fanfic.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Because this to me is actually what
incel fanfic would be.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. I did consider it, and I was doing it, but I was like, is he the true incel? I don't know. It's hard to say, but I do agree with you. This is incel fanfic for sure.
Yeah, I think this is maybe
the definition.
This is the best example of it I think we've watched.
If you opened
by my definition, by
Creeptionary,
by this thing that we've made up completely.
If you open the Creeptionary, incel fanfic would be a picture of Le Samurai.
Yeah, and you see all these images of like these guys that really like this movie, and they're doing the similar pose.
How many people do you think have this as their profile pic in the Letterboxd community?
At least two.
At least two?
Yeah.
Any highly prolific ones?
Oh, yeah.
Or?
Everybody knows them.
Okay.
We don't need to talk about these people. Anyway.
So fudge.
Whatever. This movie... Sure. So what's this Le Samurai all about? What's it feeling like? A synopsis. So we have this guy, this Jeff Costello man. He lives in his little apartment in Paris, and he just lays in bed. And you're kind of like, man, this is a really nice looking movie. This looks like that Tarkovsky guy.
Does it? Like literally look like Tarkovsky?
A little bit. And it's just like one continuous shot. There's no movement. It made me think of Stalker a little bit. When I think of Stalker, it's just this long shot. And he's up to something. And it's all very quiet. It's a little Bresson-ish. There's emphasis on hands, which is probably intentional. You know about that Robert Bresson, don't you?
I know about Hands. I've seen the cover to The Irishman.
But do you know about Hands? But do you know about Mr. Hands?
I know Mr. Hand, but you don't want to know about Mr. Hand, Jarrett.
Oh, he's only got one hand.
You don't want to know about that guy.
Nah,
trust me.
Nor do you want to know about Mr. Hands. So I'm sure he's a fan of ivermectin as well. So
potentially.
Oh yeah. No more. He's going to steal a car. And he's got a whole ring. He's got a whole loop of keys.
And what's his method, Jarrett?
Try them till they find the one that works.
Now, I have a question about this.
Yeah?
In France, is this how it works? That you just get like 1,000 keys, and you're like, one of these is going to work eventually.
It was olden times.
Was it olden times?
Yeah, it was 1967.
Was it 1967?
It was, and everyone could just get one. They could break into whatever they wanted. I'm pretty sure it's not okay to have those keys. That's why he's a criminal.
What is like crime if only like a concept?
What are freedoms?
What does freedom mean to you, Jarrett?
Podcasting.
Poor choice.
Yeah, very poor. So he sets up an alibi for himself. So it's like he tells his one of his lady friends that seems to just have like a rotating door of gentlemen callers. And he's like, hey, from this time to this time, I was with you. And that's pretty well all he has to say. And she's like, okay. Handsome.
Do you have any ride or dies that would stand by you if you just kind of blind? We were like, listen, if anyone asks, I was here.
It's hard to say.
Do you? Because like, so you
don't really know until you know when the heat's on, whether they'll break or not.
Andrew and I have talked about this a lot. She would probably turn me in.
Yeah, because you're a bad person.
Yeah, 100%.
And that would be her way out.
Yeah, well, she said he has a podcast, and they go straight to jail.
Yeah,
straight to jail. This guy's a real piece of shit. I tell her, I was like, if you ran over a guy and you're like, listen, I didn't mean to, but we got to bury this guy. I'd be like, all right, let's go.
He's stuck in the windshield, and he's in the garage right now.
He's in the garage right now. I say, listen, give it a day. This whole thing will blow over. But I would do it for her. But I mean, I don't know. She says she might, but I have doubts.
Uh-oh.
I have doubts, Jarrett. I don't know if she could actually stand up for me because I think secretly she knows I'm a bad dude. So, bad dude.
She's going to do you in.
Maybe.
It should be noted that probably the first half hour of this movie is essentially dialogue free.
It is.
They're about maybe 20 minutes.
I think I tried to check and I got lazy.
But it's this movie is it's just pure storytelling. You're just following this man as he goes about plotting how he's going to kill someone he's never met, and he's being paid to kill. The person that he's being paid to kill owns, or his name at least is on, a nightclub. And basically, Jeff's plan is he's just going to walk right in, and he's just going to shoot this guy and walk right out. Seems pretty simple, right?
I don't know what could go wrong with that.
Well, on his way out, he makes eye contact with the pianist that works there. And there's the bartender, and there's a few other people that kind of note this man in a fedora and his, like, I don't know, tan, beigey trench coat as he escapes out through essentially the front door. And now he's got to get out of there. Takes that gun, his good personal friend, Mr. Gunn, throws him right into the river.
Would you do that to one of your best friends?
Yes.
Which one?
Well, one thing happens here is Jeff, he goes to play in a poker game, which he is also kind of set up in terms of like, oh, is there a game at this particular time? Well, I'll be back to play.
like a game for the boys?
For the boys.
Berta?
Because he knows the police, upon discovering this man, are going to round up a whole bunch of suspects. So he might as well, I guess, make himself available.
What do you mean by make himself available?
Well, so this is because he does, right? Because I mean, he could have just gone home, and they would have never even thought about looking for him.
At
the end of the movie, it becomes a little bit more clear that he's on a path of self-destruction.
Yeah. Okay, so I had a few questions here when I went, and I won't say too much yet, but I went. So for a guy trying to set up so meticulously alibis and things like that, seemed pretty lazy. That the one thing that they clue him for is that he's wearing the same coat and hat, when he could have very easily changed his coat and hat. And then also, like you said, he could have probably very easily gone home. But then it also makes me question, if this individual is on a path of destruction, just end it. You know what I mean? Just like, why even bother having alibis? Just go do the thing and then, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Are you familiar with the works of Albert Camus?
No, I am not.
All right.
Frankly, he sounds made up.
Contradictions. People are contradictory, RJ. They do things.
Maybe.
There might be this underpinning of a philosophy behind it, but perhaps it'll come about and manifest
Some may say.
in curious ways.
Allegedly.
Because we're just kind of tossed around, and our actions are governed by forces that also don't really make a whole lot of sense.
Well, what even is like free will, man?
Well, the question here, though, is what is cinema?
Cinema is like...
Is this my co-host, Lars?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, Lars Costello.
Lars Costello. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I see what you're saying, but I don't know.
This Costello, this Jeff guy, what a fucking name that is.
Jeff Costello? when I saw that, I went,
the Frenchman, Jeff Costello.
I had some major doubts when I saw that.
Yeah.
I went,
Well, he gets hauled in. There's a big scene of like him standing in front of the measurement chart. Other people who've been picked up as suspects, they're grabbed. They're grabbed because they were carrying 32s, which was the same weapon used to shoot, I guess, this guy. But how would you know that? Like, this guy was literally just shot. It's like they dug the bullet out and went, there it is. This came out of a 32.
Would you not? I would dig a bullet out of you if you were shot.
Well, thank you. That's very considerate of you.
Once you were dead, I would definitely get the bullet out. And I would frame it, put it on the wall.
Yeah. Or sell it online.
Ooh. Did anyone ever sell the bullet that killed like some other famous figure?
Yeah.
Yeah?
People have done that kind of thing, but they were like, I don't know if they were real or fakes.
Oh.
There was like the people, that's like a thing. Was it in Bonnie and Clyde? Where there's like people who came running forward with like handkerchiefs and like kind of dabbed up blood off of them. Like, I got the blood of so and so, someone famous. I'm gonna sell it.
I would sell some stuff. Do you think people would pay the same for like podcaster memorabilia, like
podcaster semen?
I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say like underwear worn during this famous episode of the podcast.
They might. There's an audience for everything.
What do you think?
I don't think we have the right. We don't fit the product line, nor do we necessarily have the clientele.
I mean, maybe not, but I'm just saying, if I were to sell the underpants of both of us worn during the Idi Amin Dada episode, we might get enough money to retire, if you know what I mean.
that kind of money.
Yeah, we go Idi Amin Dada money.
Rocket ship money.
Yeah, we could fly up.
No, all the way to the moon.
Well, someone's moon.
So they really start these policemen. The Francois Perrier is the superintendent. He knows. He knows. His cop senses are tingling. He's like, this guy did it. All these witnesses. There's a lot of contradiction. And of course, there's like kind of almost a joke about how eyewitnesses are unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
But here, there seems to be an intention with that. They even like bring in this guy's girlfriend, Wink, to really like grill her about the alibi that she's trying to give him. And it's like, well, there was another man that came by it too. And how dare you get into people's private lives? But there's been a murder. We must solve it.
Yeah.
And this is about another, like, I don't know, half hour of the movie is just like the beginning of the procedural of getting this guy and how he's going to slip through your fingers. And there's interesting observations like how this guy just never talks. And you're like, how many people have you had in handcuffs for like hours on end, like metaphorically speaking, just they never talked. It's like that is not what normal people do.
There's a lot of assumptions made by the police unit in this movie.
It's a good thing this isn't a true crime documentary, and this is a work of fiction.
Well, what would you do if it was a work of fiction?
Well, I noticed, RJ, that your Letterboxd review is a link to a NWA music video.
Which one?
About the police
Compton?
and fucking them.
Well, I don't know about you, Jarrett, but when I watched this film, I had a sense of, I don't know if it's the last year or two, and the awareness of the goings-ons and the happenings of the police, and particularly in this movie, the things that you watch the police do. They say, "Listen, he's innocent, but we know he's guilty. Let's break into his apartment. Let's hold him here. Let's really question this lady about her sexuality."
Well,
things like that.
and also like make deals that you can't do, and also be like, you've perjured yourself, which she hadn't done.
Which she hadn't done. Kind of lie to people and
Well, I mean,
extort them
I will
in
say
a
that
certain way.
the French justice system is different from our own.
The French?
Yeah.
What about the French Canadian? Is that different?
No, that would still fall under the dominion of Canada, generally speaking. But I guess the province does get to determine its own rules, which I can't imagine are too far off from our own. But I digress. But yeah, so I was curious about this because I was like, RJ, are you pro Hitman? Are you for murder for hire?
I'm pro doing what feels right.
And the police are like the no fun police.
Yeah, get out of here, fun police. You know what I mean, Jared?
Mm-hmm.
No, well, all I meant was I felt that the police were potentially doing some questionable things this film, and it made me
get their men.
I mean, yes, but confession under torture is not confession. What is it? You know what I'm trying to say.
I mean, well, yeah, there's some coercion here. There's a little bit of some things feel a little coercive, but yeah, there's a little bit of that going on. There is like they even kind of, the movie definitely makes you root for Jeff getting away with things, which is I think just good movie making, I guess. Good
incel fanfic.
Yeah, the movie wouldn't really work if you were like, oh man, I hope this guy gets arrested. Like that would be not great. It would make the movie not really hold together. So anyway, Costello starts getting tailed by the police after he leaves. Mm-hmm. But he shakes his tail, and he goes to find the guy who's got he's got an envelope for him. But you know what they say about criminals? Don't trust them, because this guy's like, hey, you got caught. You're a liability, and he goes to kill him. There's a struggle on this overpass, kind of pedestrian bridge by a train track. There's a swooping camera shot along a fence as they kind of have a scuffle, and then they break apart, and then this Donald Trump looking man gets away, and Costello's like, damn, and he's been shot in the arm. Now
Lost
he's got
another one.
Now he's got to tend to his wounds.
What do you think he's gonna do?
He's gonna be a man and like act like it's no big deal, even though like when I get paper cuts, those sting real bad. I gotta go put a Band-Aid on it. I don't really know exactly how a bullet hole feels, but
it's nothing, dude. I've been shot like 9-10 times. You barely notice.
Yeah, you start getting used to it.
Say, buck up, snowflake.
No,
you'll be fine.
So now he's got a little bit more motivation. It's like, this guy, he shot me. I don't like that very much. Well, yeah, that's neither here nor there. He goes to visit the pianist, Valerie.
Yeah.
And he's because he wants to know, like, why did you help me?
Could you explain that?
Why?
Yeah. Oh no, I thought you said, what did you help me? And I was like, what do you mean by what?
What? Why? Why did she help him? Why did she help him? Why did she, RJ?
I remember the scene. They're in the car, and she says something like, I remember when I watched the first scene, I was like, is she going to be like, well, why did you let me go? And then I honestly can't remember now. I watched this movie like 2 days ago. I don't remember why she let him go. It's something like that, is it not?
Yeah.
She's like, you let me go, and whatever, you didn't have to, so, or is it something else?
I mean, my interpretation of this was like Marty was a bad dude. And it's
Yeah,
kind of like, I don't really care. It's like, oh, you killed him.
yeah.
You kind of did us all. You did the world a favor. You did me a favor.
So you did everyone a solid on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're all appreciative.
We're all good. So anyway, the police they're going to be like, we're gonna turn up the heat on this guy. So some police officers break into his apartment. They bug the room. The bird's not a fan of this, and I guess the astute Costello notices the bird being very upset, and he's like, there must be something amiss, and finds the bug immediately.
I was a little confused by that. Like the bird was just doing bird stuff.
But
Nothing.
but very agitatedly, because compared to like how the
Yeah.
bird was just kind of chirping pleasantly at the beginning of the movie, now the bird's like, "Watch out, Jeff! Watch out!" That's what the subtitles read. I don't know if you got that cut with the bird language.
Oh, the bird cut?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that the Snyder cut is one thing, but the bird cut is a whole other kind of ball game. I will say, I think that may be, like, that is definitely their intent with this, but I think that's a tad generous. Jarrett, to get the audience to say, man, the bird really loves him. Really kind of glued him in. I would go.
That's what you got. That's what you got to do a mental in Dumb and Dumber, and you just pop that bird's head off.
Our birds' heads are falling off.
Yeah.
Like that.
Leave no witnesses.
Well, I mean, actually, so I just watched the Millennium with the bad guy from Dumb and Dumber in it, and oh man,
Like Mike Starr or
yeah, like the big guy who dies on the chili. Yeah, he was in the Millennium I just watched, and he gets up to no good, Jarrett. Let me tell you,
like Millennium style stuff.
oh, pretty. Yeah, I'm talking about necrophilia in the woods, Oedipus complex kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. He's a good dude.
I mean, in terms of Millennium, he's one of the lighter villains.
Mm-hmm.
So gets grisly, but while we're on the subject, I should say.
So yeah, the police visit Jane. That's his lady friend, not the pianist, the other lady friend. And they just like kick in the door essentially, and just like start searching. I'm like, do they have a warrant? They don't really say. But this is a bit more of the pressure of being like, hey, you could be in a lot of trouble for lying to us. I'll take this little statement you gave me and I'll tear it up. Just tell me you tell me the truth. He's just hammering her. He's going for all the angles, all those police tricks. But just when you think she's going to bite, she's like, no, you want me to perjure myself by saying what you want me to tell you? I've already told you the truth. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, yeah. Would you go, though? Or would you stay?
What's that?
Well, you said get the fuck out of here. But would you go?
Well, he's got to go. Why would he keep staying?
Maybe he likes it there.
Maybe he does. It seems very comfortable. A lot of silk sheets.
What kind of sheets do you got on your bed? Silk, cotton, bamboo?
That's cotton.
Yeah. Are they ever scratchy?
It depends on the thread count, RJ.
Well, we bought a couple sheets that sounded good, but they were all scratchy, and I was like, man.
Yeah. A little abrasive.
Well, I was like, I'm happy to be in a bed under a roof, so that's one thing, but at the same time, kind of want to lie in comfort.
Yeah. Get yourself some flannel sheets.
Ooh, for them winter months.
That's right.
Okay. Just a little tangent for a second. Yeah. That's all.
Then you cuddle in. So yeah, there's a whole lot of Costello losing the police, and then the police are like, "We're going to keep putting more and more people on this guy. He's going to slip up." He goes back to his apartment again, and his the Donald Trump looking guy, he's there, gets the drop on him. He's like, "Hey, sorry about that mistake. Things didn't look good at the time, but we got another job for you. We're going to pay another 2 million francs or whatever it is to do it." And the guy's like, well, I don't really make deals or talk when someone's pointing a gun at me. The guy's like, okay, I'll put my gun away. And then he gets the shit beat out of him. And he's like, now you're going to tell me where your boss is, because I'm going to settle things up with him. And because he's a boss, because he's an evil boss in a movie, he really loves modernist art.
What kind of art are we talking about? Matisse?
Like
Degas?
Paintings that look like Rorschach.
No
Watchmen.
Degas?
No Degas.
Oh.
That's where like TV villains really are into like Roman busts.
Like busts of Roman Reigns?
Yeah, of Roman Reigns.
That's what you meant, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Or Luther Reigns.
Whoa, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, you look him up. Look up Luther Reigns, WWE.
Okay, wait. I better open up an incognito window here because I don't want any Target ads on whatever Luther Reigns is.
Well, you already missed SummerSlam, so.
Well, I'm fine with that. Let's see. Yeah, this guy looks like he's less Samourai. This guy's super old, though.
Well, he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, what's his affiliation with Roman Reigns?
Nothing other than they really like that last name Reigns for a while. And then they're like, hey, let's try it again. This time with a younger man.
Do you think that that's what the bad guys in movies like Less Samurai have, like busts of in their things? It's like the WWE wrestlers,
the chest protectors,
oh.
punching their fists to the ground and going wah.
Dude, he was like Waluigi.
He does sound effects. Anyway, so the samurai.
Sure.
His goal is now to get Carter. No, he's there to kill the guy that gave the, he was backstabbed by, and he's going to be followed by the police forever. He's being trailed by all these people, all these cops in disguises, and he's on a train. And there's lots of comings and goings. You're like, how is he going to shake them? There's just so many. The state surveillance is so prevalent. Is this like M? But it's instead of like a child predator that we want to see get caught, this is about a cool-looking guy with big blue eyes. His eyes are blue, right? That's not a colorblind thing.
I think his eyes are walnut, potentially.
I don't know about that.
No, I think they're blue.
Yeah, big blue eyes, looking. I think so. He's like always like puppy doggy, and all these people go, "Oh, look at him! He's trying to kill me."
Do you think he's cute?
Well, he manages to visit her one last time, and then he goes to the guy that he wants to kill, who I guess also lives where the pianist lives.
Conveniently.
And he just goes and kills this guy pretty quickly. It's like this is the last, I don't know, 10 minutes to go. And it's just like, oh, that guy's or something like that. It's like, oh, he's just dead. That's the drama, but it's not about that. It's not about that. But this movie,
what is it about?
It's about Michael Mann fetishism of like men doing jobs and professionalism, about masculinity, right?
What even is masculinity?
Well, did you think Michael Mann's a fan of this movie? Because I feel like this movie is
probably
like,
kind of.
When people think about Thief and these other types of movies and aesthetics. Anyway,
I would say probably, but I don't know to what end. Yeah.
So he goes back to the nightclub, and the last time he was at the nightclub, the bartender made a joke about what is it about criminals return to the scene of the crime. Because you could imagine like a 1940s film noir man saying that to somebody, that kind of dialogue.
Listen here, pal. The criminal always returns.
But it's classy when it's in French, and you have to read the subtitle, and you go, it's really deep. It's very psychological. So he shows up to the busy nightclub, and he's like making he's not even trying to conceal himself. He's just out in the open, and then he walks over to the pianist, and he smiles. He's just looking at her, and she's kind of like, "Oh, you're back again." And she's like, "What are you doing here?" "I'm here to kill you. I've been paid to do so." Because there's this job that he's supposed to take, and you're like, "What? What's going on? Is this the incel emerging?" And then, of course, he pulls out a gun, and then the police all jump out and shoot him dead. And then you're like, "Wow, It's a good thing we were here. He would have killed you. But then the detective goes, no, and they pull out the gun, and they pop out the revolver piece, and it's like, it's empty. It wasn't even loaded. And it leaves you questions of like, but why?
Say, did the police use excessive force in this measure?
Wow, I mean, they dealt with the matter like they would with a stormtrooper. That stormtrooper had a gun. That was not real, but they have to treat it like it's real, and they already know this guy's a suspect. But now it's all tied up in a nice, neat little package. The bad guys have been punished, like in the classic movies, but there's ambiguity of like the choices that he's made up to this point. He put a lot of effort into not being caught, but was it all just for show? Was it mechanical decision making? And then finally he makes a decision at the end that completely undermines what he was doing all along. He did exactly what he needed to do and accomplish his end. Suicide by cop.
I mean, that could be the point, but at the same time, I feel like there's easier methods.
Or otherwise he exists in his cage. He didn't want to go to jail. Maybe that's why he didn't want to go to jail. He didn't want to be like a bird.
What about a rat in a cage? Have you ever considered that?
and their rage?
Yeah, have you... Where does the rage go?
What rage in the cage?
No, I feel like the rage in the cages are somewhat anti-things. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like anti-Jarrett.
So what does this movie got going for it? This movie is gorgeous. This movie looks amazing. Which is something I really remember from his movie Army of Shadows, which is also Jean-Pierre Melville. I don't know how I would compare this to Le Cercle Rouge.
Le Cercle Rouge?
Le Cercle Rouge, which is also kind of similar. Very, very pretty looking movie. I think I like the simplicity of the story a little bit more. Maybe that's just my memory of it. I like this more. I like this movie more this time compared to the first. There is definitely moments in this movie where I'm just like, oh god, like I can only imagine the people who love this movie, and it makes me turn against the movie because I'm imagining the audience for Le Samourai is like kind of annoying people.
I understand that. I can feel for that.
But yeah, I think despite those types of things, I really can't think of too much I don't like about this movie. So I don't know. Did you know, RJ, that after the success of The Godfather, the rights of this movie got snapped up and a dub version was released in the U.S. in 1972 as The Godson.
Oh. I mean, I'm on board with the Godson film.
Yeah,
I think that'd be okay.
It's the exact same movie, but just dubbed.
What about The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin? Is that in any way similar?
With Frodo?
Yes, he's in that as well.
He is.
And do you think that's a little bit like this film, or no?
No.
Okay. Interesting. What was your actual question? Oh, the Godson.
Yeah, or did you know that, RJ?
I did not know that. Hit me with some more fun trivia.
Well, Vincent Canby of the New York Times, he called the original film immaculate, but criticized the dubbing in the 1972 version released in the U.S. as disorienting and dreadful.
I mean, seems to be what people say about dubbing from time to time.
Yeah, I'm not getting a sense that this movie really had much of a U.S. release. A lot of the reactions seems to be to the 1972 version, The Godson, that floated around for a while. Yeah, the first released in theaters in 1972 in the U.S. as then maybe it was like Godson, and then became The Samourai. Which, how do you feel about that title?
The Samourai?
The Samourai. I guess there's like this. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like this guy's tearing his stomach open with gun bullets or anything. This will annoy people who don't like when we joke about movie titles and saying
that they like a lot.
They're like, why? How can you understand what the title means?
I know what the title means.
Yeah,
but fine. It's definitely incel fan fiction. Like, I think the Ronin would have been better because, like, as a samurai, he's not really, like, he's not taking, like, I don't know. I mean, samurais and assassins aren't the same thing, man. I know that they could be wolves.
They could be.
I mean, potentially. Samurais sometimes go for hire, but I feel like there's also the samurai code, unless you go by the harikiri aspect, where it's not the code, it's... Man, I don't know. All I know is when I read that description about his armor being his fedora, I went, I don't know about this, man. Said, I'm not really sure what to think about that. You know what I mean, Jarrett? So as a samurai in general, I get it. I know what they're trying to do, but then at the same time, I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm not on board.
Mm-hmm.
Not on board with that samurai the way that they want.
Well, you know that John Woo was a big fan of this movie, and it was in the movie The Killer, which we talked about 5 years ago, probably, was influenced heavily by the plot here.
I mean, that kind of makes sense.
There's a pianist, but now she's replaced with a singer.
I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like
and Chow Yun-fa's character is named Jeffrey Chow. Jeff Costello, Jeff Chow. Come on.
Do you think like this could be one of those situations where the things it has influenced have gone on to become bigger than it itself?
I think this movie's a pretty big movie, though, amongst the Criterion faithful.
Yeah, I mean, amongst the Criterion folk, yes, for sure.
I'd say it's probably more well-liked than, or watched more than The Killer.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see what you meant. What I meant, I think, more was for me. Do you think that this is a movie that I like the influences of more than the movie itself?
Possibly. So, I mean, okay, at this point, we've watched, 3 Melvilles in our creep? Because we watched Bob Le Flamble. And then we steered on over to Le Cercle Rouge, which is 1970, so 3 years after this. And then Le Samourai is like right in the middle between these. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 more, 6 more Jean-Pierre Melville. So that's kind of cool that Criterion is a house for these JPM movies.
For the Melville boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that is cool. For the most part, I think I'm pretty on board with JPM. Like I like Bob Le Flamble, liked quite a bit. The Cercle Rouge is a surprise banger, you know. Wasn't expecting that, but it was good. Real good, maybe. Actually, maybe not real good. I can't remember. I remember liking that movie.
Yeah.
Was it real good, or am I exaggerating because of inflation at this point?
It might be because of inflation at this point.
Could be. I don't even know where I ranked.
I'm looking it up. The
Cercle Rouge. I don't even remember now.
Yeah, no, I gave this about the same rating as the Samourai. I put them in the same ballpark.
Which ballpark do you think that would be?
Good movies.
Pretty good?
I think you liked the movie more than me, with 4 stars.
Le Cercle Rouge?
Yeah.
Yeah, Le Cercle Rouge is good. I liked Le Cercle Rouge. And Barry.
Very attractive movies.
Yes, I agree.
Very.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so RJ, what did you think of Le Samourai?
Okay, so I'm kind of in a weird mixed boat where I'm similar to how you feel sometimes, where reading the description of this movie makes me uncomfortable in the sense that I feel like this movie very easily fits into that camp of fandom that I don't want to be a part of, where it's just like it's checking so many boxes and so many people are like, I just know that one day someone's gonna come up to me and be like, "Do you know what Samurai? It's like it influenced all of these films. It's the movie. It's the movie." And I'll be like, "Yeah, I know it. It's fine." Like that kind of thing, which I know is my own kind of petty thing, anyways. But okay, here's my thing. I think the first 30 minutes of this movie are real good. I actually do. Where the first 30 minutes, I was just like, I don't. You're just watching. You're watching things unfold, and you're like, where's this gonna go? Not really sure. I think it might go this way. I don't really know, but I like it so far. I really liked the feel of the movie and the opening a little bit, because when did this come out? 67. Yeah, because so it's a 67 film, but it felt like a 70s movie to me for some reason, like with the music and the style. And I was just like, this is very 70s.
Yeah, there's like the one piece of music that gets used at the beginning of the movie that's like really good, but it feels like Italian horror, like, or Italian like
yes,
sleazy, scummy Italian movies do. Ahead of its time.
That's exactly what I thought, where I was like, oh shit. I was like, this thing's got like a 70s drip to it, like Italian style. And I was like, I'm kind of on board with that. I like that. So the song was there. I do like just, soft or cold open. Just let's see what happens. I really liked all that kind of stuff. I thought that was cool. When I was watching it, I did get a little bit distracted by, and I think you did kind of summarize it well, where you're kind of like, well, people, sometimes lie to themselves. I get that. I was just kind of like, meh. I got a little lost. I was like, well, why would he do this if he wanted to do that? Why would he do this if he wanted to do that? And then in the end, you go, oh, I see. But then at the same time, it wasn't very satisfying to me in the end, where I was like, oh, okay, I see what he was doing this whole time. But then I'm also like, it didn't really pop on me. I was just like, man, it's all right. So I think the first part of this is very good. The movie looks great. It's got cool style. It's a very cool movie. Like you see people watching this and go, oh yeah, this is the shit. This is how I dress every day. This is my exact style, Jarrett. It's my exact style.
With my vape pen.
My vape pen, my fedora, and my extra long trench coat, Neo style. It's my exact style.
I always think of it more Christopher Lambert from Highlander style.
Oh, well, there can only be one, so I guess it has to be Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's what I thought for a long portion of this movie. I was just like, man. And like you said, I didn't take it, but the whole time watching this, I was like, this movie created a lot of incels, I think.
Well, no, it's a movie that they're drawn to.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they're just like
they're already having these problems. They're like kind of like, see, this is how women should be. They should be very thankful.
But then they're also like, oh, very thankful.
Well, see, this is where I think you're misusing the labels, because you often when you're mentioning it in movies, you're saying, oh, this is if it was fanfic, it would be them writing life into what they would like it to be, rather than like a depiction of their life, because that would be inaccurate. This is like this is them correcting, like, this is the way it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like, for me, rather than like how it is, sad and pathetic.
Here's the thing about labels: they are made up. But the one time, so incel fanfic sprouted from Hell Comes to Frogtown, which that is 100% incel fanfic, because it's like a guy, whoever wrote that is like, what if you were like the last man on Earth, and every woman was hyper attracted to you, and like they couldn't resist you because they knew that they should be grateful that you're the only one. And I was like, Frogtown.
And if you're and you're a Roddy Piper.
And you're a Roddy Piper, which, I mean, I feel like not as much not his fault. But yes, I know what you mean. So I'm kind of mixed bag on with Samourai, where I was like, ooh, there's a lot of aspects I do really like, and then there's a bunch of stuff where I was kind of like, not as great for me. I do think it's a good movie. Like I don't think it's bad or anything like that. But I am a little put off by what I think this movie did to the world, Jared. To society.
I don't know if it did anything though.
We live in a society, Jared.
Well, they also supposedly were all relating to that movie too. The movie that never gets set in.
Allegedly.
Yeah, or they're all about those jokers. And this is it's an anti-hero movie, right? As opposed to an anti-villain, which you could go see in theaters. Don't Breathe 2.
He's not an anti-hero. He's an anti-villain.
Thanks, Fede.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good show. I'm kind of in the middle on it, but that's not because of anything against the movie itself, more my own thing.
So come see, come saw.
I mean, sure. C'est la vie, if that's how you want to put it.
Yeah.
C'est la vie, oh oui, Paris. I can speak French all day if you guys want. Tout le franc.
Well, you want to hear about who hates this movie?
I mean, sure. I mean, I'm actually I am curious because, like, I know my baggage with this movie, but I doubt that's other people's baggage. So, like, let's see.
So Swagusting.
Okay.
Half a star. I hope my mind will change one day because LMA. Wow, this shit ass.
Shit ass.
This shit ass.
Well, one of their favorite films is La La Land, which isn't like a bad film or anything like that, but like, oh, here's the kicker for you, Jared. They have already reviewed Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh.
And they've given it 5 stars.
Yeah.
And they said the greatest piece of media or fiction to ever touch the screen.
Okay.
Now, as soon as I see someone who reviews a movie that's not out and gives it star rating, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like I get what you're trying to do. Maybe you're trying to make a real kind of zinger and get some traction, but you could just leave it alone. You know? You just leave it alone. One of their top films of all time, number 8 on their list, is Fight Club. This person.
Yeah.
And I go,
we know.
Of course.
We know.
Of course.
Well, actually, it is surprising because I feel like the Samurai might fall into that bookshelf.
Yeah.
What about New Haven Food Tweet?
I don't know.
Half a star. Protagonist is named Jeff.
I mean, I know that's silly, but is it enough to rock you? This is a person who only rates 5 stars or half a star.
Half a star.
So no, I mean that's the only ratings they have.
Oh,
5 stars or half stars.
Okay, so it's one.
Nothing
it's
in
all,
between.
All or nothing.
Yeah, their only favorite film is The Shining. That's their only one. And other half-star films, ooh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Interesting. They half-starred Trog.
Aww.
Trog's not a bad movie. Half-starred Mummy. Mummy's not a bad movie. Yeah, actually, a lot of their half-star films are pretty good. 5-star films, I don't know. Face Off? That's John Woo, right? Right? I don't know. This person's all over the map.
I don't know.
All over the map.
We have, how about Southport, half a star.
Okay.
Complete and utter shit. Adam suggested that we watch this dreck. However, I was out for 40 winks in the first 20 minutes. What I remember is that this film is oddly in French only. Don't know why it isn't in English, I guess. The filmmakers weren't respectable enough to make the film for the #1 language in the world. But whatever. For whatever reason, the film's title alludes to samurai. However, spoilers, there isn't a single member of the samurai in this film. Talk about false advertising. This is, by the way, an attempt at humor. The film is also old as heck, which makes it very boring due to the filmic techniques and such being in the Stone Age. The film opens in some dude's bedroom. Funny, because all the film made me want to do was go to my sodding bed. So to break it down, no samurai, boring, dull, pretentious, agonizing. 0.5 out of 10. I like the guy's fedora. Hilarious.
I don't even know where to start with this thing.
It's dumb.
Southport. This account is for posting the opinions of the lads from Southport Film Studios, Elgin. Don't know what that is. They have 3 films logged. Their 4 favorite films are Big Hero 6, Big Hero 6, Big Hero 6, Big Hero 6. The only other 2 films they've watched are 10 Cloverfield Lane, and their first line is, where do I start? Well, the poster looks kind of good. Danny, my N-word, has designed better, though. Continues. And then Le Samurai. That's it. That's all they got, Jarrett. And these reviews are from 5 years ago. That's it. Oh.
Anyway, and finally, we'll just go with Gary Collection.
Okay.
Where's Abbott?
Like Abbott and Costello?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Like this is a comedy?
More French. Didn't we learn from the last film in the collection? Usually when you break up a successful team, they fall apart. Have any Daryl Hall albums? Think not. This actually works, though, with Jeff Costello being separated from Bud Abbott. Costello spreads his wings and becomes the straight man we always knew he could be. Gone is the slapstick, and now he's a svelte hitman for hire. This is heralded as one of the most influential films in the world by people like that Martin Scorsese guy and Quentin Tartar. I can see it. I give it 1 star only for the fact it's another fucking French film, and John Criterion made me sit through a comedy about rape before seeing this. It's a spiteful 1 star, John. Hope it hits you hard, you bastard.
I mean, kind of, yeah. I don't fully disagree with that.
No.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jared?
I hear ya.
Jared, do you know what I mean?
I got it.
Do you know what I mean, Jared?
I got it.
Not quite sure if he knows, guys.
I got it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the samurai.
Any final words on The Samurai?
Incels.
Beware.
Incels beware.
I mean,
you're in for a scare.
Do. The Samurai.
Do. Remember the dog in the intro where the dog's eyes go dun, 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 and then you go, whoa.
Yeah. His eyes as sweet as Alan Delon's.
No one could.
No.
Mm-hmm.
After the break, we hang up the swords and call it quits. Do a little bit of that harakiri by police.
We could not be incels.
Very honorable.